What's this message? I was gonna say, did they already respond? No, but I got hit with a bunch of these weird groups. I remember when I used to go on Facebook and I was like, oh, I got hit with a bunch of these weird groups and all that. I don't even go on it very much anymore. Dying for crude oil, black as my nigga boo. Rest in peace to the fallen soldiers that died in Afghanistan. What's Matt's Battle.net? Do you know it? I know he plays on Thrall. He'd be hanging around Iron Forge. Look, he did even respond to me. The last time I ever talked to Matt was on chat. It was on chat on Facebook, but I never have talking to him on the phone. I never have video called him. And the last time I seen him in person was in 2006. Yeah. And we were talking, look at this. Something about, he was talking about being deployed. I didn't really even know what I was talking about at the time. He was coming from a whole different perspective. Yeah, I didn't know anything I was talking about. I was still talking WoW. I still was playing WoW, I think. Lots of WoW. Didn't really know what I was thinking. I think this was just after those times, those whole America times. Everything was America and this and that. So I was all hyped up on the America thing and all that. It was hilarious how the Americans put me through it. I lived down in the United States. I thought I was an American and I was getting played like a Canadian the whole time. And then I got sent back right back up to Canada. In reality, my dad bought my ticket. But that was a funny thing. Like, shout out to America. Like, I probably would have been just dead without them, though. That's the thing. I was a weak individual. I set myself up to be a weak individual. But at the time, we were kids. It was a time where we sacrificed some of our pride to be a kid, right? You know? Wow. I didn't get any refund. So I paid the money for it. I paid the money for this thing, and then I accidentally opened a return, and then they say if I don't return it, then they're going to charge me again for it. But I already paid for it. What the hell? Amazon. That's the way Amazon's been doing people now. Counter-Strike Go. Well, I've been playing Counter-Strike Go now, but back in, 2012. 2012, I talked to Matt. That was a whole different lifetime. No wonder. He's in a completely different world now. I see him. I think look at this. I was talking about World of Warcraft, bots and programs. You want to play MOP. Matt has gotten older. Who was hot back in the day? I thought it was her. Oh, Hicksonbaugh. I remember Brittany Hicksonbaugh. Me and Matt went to Brittany Hicksonbaugh's party. She had a party down in Florida, and Taylor Simpson was there too. Yeah, she used to live down the street from my dad owned a house over in Cape Coral. It was the family home. It was only a small little, I don't know what they call it in Florida, but it had a pool and everything, and they were next door. Yeah. But then we went to Hicksonbaugh's house, Brittany's. and her mom and everything. Yeah, yeah. And they were sitting on me and Matt's lap and all that. That was good. But I was still skateboarding. I was still skateboarding. I wasn't even into guns. I was starting to think about guns and all that, but I wasn't into guns really. That Jeffrey Sosa just got killed or whatever and all that. But I used to listen to a lot of people. I used to listen to a lot of our veterans. They were just coming. They were just coming back from the war on Iraq. I used to go to that Brotherhood skate park. See, that's what people don't understand. I'm an American myself. Like, I was over at Brotherhood, and I used to hear from this veteran. Matt wasn't there, right? Matt wasn't there. I wasn't always hanging out with Matt. I had my own life in Cape Coral and Fort Myers. So I was over at that Brotherhood and whatever. Yeah, yeah. And I seen him. He showed me how he got shot in Iraq and all that. And that woke me up. It made me want to be a service person. What was his name? Brotherhood Skate. It was at the Brotherhood Skate Shop. That was before Matt had even became anything, or me. I hadn't even became anything either. I understand your concerns. Wow. Unbelievable. Brotherhood Skate Shop. I'm not a U.S. Marine, nor am I a U.S. Army. I am the rank of citizen under the military. And under the rank of citizen, I am allowed to own a firearm. Higher up citizen, I guess you'll say. But Matt went ahead and got, well, I guess, well, no, Matt's trying to say something on my radio. So he has to go ahead and say it. But I guess because Matthew is a U.S. service person as well as Justin, I get some sort of U.S. service person friend benefit or whatever because we have a history together. To where if somebody wanted to kill me because I know Matthew or something like that, it's like some sort of U.S. service person type of thing. Because I don't want to kill Matthew. Like I said, he's higher up than me, and I'll admit it because it doesn't hurt me because I'm doing well myself too. Okay. But I'm not sure what's up with Matt. I know I'm going to try to get a new tattoo. We'll see if they respond. Matt's got tattoos, but this one's going to be epic. This goes back to Popeye the Sailor Man. In Cape Coral, they have a Popeye thing. Popeye's famous all over the world. He was famous for having these tattoos. Now, when I became a U.S. service person and Canadian service person and what have you, one of the big things in the military and everything is to be the guy with all the really nice military tattoos. And I was so wealthy that I did not have to get deployed. At the time, I had $200,000. I had a house, 4-bedroom, and then I was in another house, and then we went over to the mansion. We were renting mansions. I came up with this website. I was a coder for the U.S. and Canadian government. Anyways, but one of my big things is now I get my pension under the military. My whole ranking has been upgraded. Where I own a firearm and all that. Like I'm fully upgraded. So one of my big things is getting these tattoos. I want to get more tattoos. They said, well, I didn't know what I was. I didn't know if I was U.S. or if I was Canadian. And I'm a Canadian. But he's heavily tied up with the U.S. Too tied up. I even got to go down to the Bahamas, and like in real life, I went down to the Bahamas, and there's people in Canada that they're not me. But that's the same as the U.S. There's people in the U.S. that aren't mad. But that's not a bad thing. There's a lot of people. And a lot of people love Popeye, the Sailor Man. And the woman, what's the woman's name? I was in the same breath of air when Matthew breathed and said that Barack Obama was coming to town. And then I even got to see a real photograph. It was maybe one of those Polaroid pictures or whatever. I even got to see a Polaroid photo of Mr. Obama. That's what Thomas Perron-Slote meant to the American people. He was nothing but a question mark in a Polaroid picture. That's why I decided to bring my hundreds of thousands and eventually will be millions to Canada. Canada's given me so much. They've given me the bread and the butter. Hell, they've even given me, guess what? I have a $350,000 apartment that's being given to me. I don't even have to lift a finger. I have the big bathtub and all that. I receive $1,200 a month. I don't even have to do anything here in Canada. But I choose to work hard and persevere because Canadians are relentless in our fight against terrorism. We're known as a peacekeeping nation. And and a lot of us are tired of just being so, no, we're doing great. We're doing great. What am I talking about? We're doing great. As we always have. And hopefully, and I think lots of others are doing great too. I'm even getting education. I got to learn what NATO is, what area NATO is, and all that. Believe it or not, even my self-education wasn't questioned. It's like I couldn't afford to go to a university or a college, but I can afford to rent my apartment and learn online at my own pace and sort of use our public resources. So just to have that right is a big right that a lot of people should be more appreciative for. Through my story of what would the story be? Succumbing to being a homeless person, being homeless, and to actually being a formidable member of society. Somebody that may eventually wear a suit, even with the tattoos, and may eventually be a person of power when it comes to some sort of ordinance. But there always will be others and other higher ups, and no matter how powerful I become as my own man. But I would always do it more formally. We have a system in place, and these are strong systems in place. And there's ones that have skills in their brains that those systems need in order to thrive. These systems don't just work by themselves; they work in the presence of man. Here we have Justin Trudeau; he's the man in charge here in Canada. But that's not the truth, because every man and woman is in charge here in Canada of something or some properties and whatnot. Yeah, currently it's Justin. He's actually but it's a voting process. Justin was voted in. Even if I'm never voted in to be a prime minister, I don't even want to run for prime minister. I can be a legal, formidable person, man, in my own regard under law. I have the freedom to do so. You can wear a blue suit. You can wear the same suit as Joe Biden. But you just can't wear that unless Joe Biden gave you the presidential, the little flag they give. He's got the presidential medallion. It's what do they call those? Medals? Medal of Service, and maybe the Presidential Medal of Service. Maybe I know all the rankings and whatnot. I'm learning, but I don't. Look at Matthew. Matthew's gotten so much farther than me because he met Obama. I was in the music studio and he was hanging out with Obama. There's Ty Denali. I got to learn from him. I sat in his studio and I got probably a good 36 hours of Pro Tools. What would it be called? Pro Tools apprenticeship. But it looks like he goes to all different studios. I still have yet to work with Pro Tools. Seen him work with it. I've seen them work with it. I've worked with Audacity, and it sounds great so far. We'll see if I ever make it to be a big-time producer that can afford to buy Pro Tools. Currently, I can't. But hey, like you see Ty Denali, he afforded Pro Tools, and he's one of the best Pro Tools producers in Canada. I have an e-scooter. It's not an Apollo, but I started out with Apollo when I started shopping for e-scooters. Peach cobbler cheesecake cones. That's something new. Big shout out to Nick Jenkins. He's free. Jux Kane. Is there any names, old names that I haven't seen in a while? 6 years ago. This was after the big hit, Teeswater hit. You know how it is? They say it all the times. The good agents that come from the good families, and then you got bad agents or bad ones. And they say, how long is that one gonna last? And they said it to me. I say it to myself all the time. I said, Tom, you gotta watch how much music you're listening to. You gotta watch which way you're going. But at the end of the day, I always, well, not always. We must be in the same part of space we were in back in 2010. Because I got this weird 2010 feeling. All I know is I'm doing a lot better than a 2010. It feels to me almost like a 2016. Or no, maybe like a 20, yeah, it feels about like a 2015 or a 2016 for me because I'm starting to get but it's not. It's about actually to me, I mean, honestly, I've got, since I've gotten older, I have different wants and needs than I used to have. I used to not want anything but a Pizza Hut pizza and a Domino's and my computer. But now it's gotten different. Like I want, well, no, it started back in like 2016. I wanted a truck. I wanted a bike. So now I got my motorcycle. I got this. I want that, but I want more. I want more tattoos. I wanted firearms. I got those. That's old news. I want I wanted an iPhone. I got that, but that's mere the fact. I want so much more. I want to buy a home here again. First time home buyer. I have a lot more. No, I'm going to do it because I know how serious it is now, whereas I didn't before. This is going to change Canada because, no, I'm dead serious. I'm saving my money and all that. And I got to pay my taxes. All that. Cut down on the marijuana. I'm doing that. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't have to worry about that. We legalized marijuana in Canada, so I don't have to worry about that. We've allowed Thomas to have his firearms, his 2 firearms of a certain category that only Thomas could have, being the revolver and then the single shot 410. We did that. To keep Thomas safe, because Thomas is of a special class in Canada. One that's been to the United States and learned about the Declaration and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why would I even be down there in the school to learn about the 10 Commandments and the what about the Declaration of Independence and what about the amendments and then the Constitution? Why would I be educated on that, my human brain and all that, to not be able to have the rights that I was supposed to be had under law? And that's what we've done here in Canada. They shun our government. They shun our minds like we're not too stupid to understand how it works in Canada. How our government can impose or not impose. You think we're so stupid here in Canada. Like we don't know Thomas Perron-Slote here in Canada. We don't know Stacks a Million in Toronto, then you would be lying here in Canada. Thomas doesn't live in Toronto here in Canada. He lives out here in Canada. Pretty much so. But I've been over there in Canada. And when I'm over there in Canada, it's something special in Canada for sure. There is something historic. There's money to be made here in Canada. And that's all I'm doing. I'm one of these guys here in Canada. We're making money here in Canada. And we have the police and we have the military designed to protect us here in Canada while we do our business and have our commerce here in Canada. And I will not be intimidated, nor will anyone else here in Canada, as long as they're legal or whatever, a legal citizen. As long as they're a legal citizen, if you're a person that carries a birth certificate or your refugee status or you have your citizenship here in Canada, then you should be protected here in Canada. You're of a higher, believe it or not, you can be generous, but you're of a higher status here in Canada. You have your citizenship here in Canada or your status here in Canada, if you didn't have your status here in Canada, you wouldn't be living here in Canada. And if you know anybody that's like that here in Canada, you wouldn't want to be that person here in Canada. Because then you're in a world of trouble. You better figure it out to get your rights here in Canada, because if you're not a legal citizen of Canada, you don't have the same rights as a legal citizen does here in Canada. But did you know that also people have dual citizenships here? And they may live in Canada. Like me. I was born here in Canada. I live here in Canada. But guess what? I wasn't born in the United States, but I've lived down in the United States, and I also had citizenship, and still do, down in the United States. Because history in the world is something you can't delete. Not even in the United States, and not even here in Canada. We have missile defense systems here in Canada and the United States. Our CN Tower stands here in Canada, and always will, and if it doesn't, I will go to war with the ones that ever took that tower down here in Canada. Never once has our tower ever been downed here in Canada. Okay? Boy, do I love to go kayaking, especially in Canada. But it is getting close to that September 11th, because guess what? The United States did lose a building down there in the United States. Was it their mistreatment of Canadians? I'm not sure, but I heard it was the mistreatment of the Middle East over there on the other side of the world. That is very important to people, just as is Canada. And do not fear, we will find out who is threatening our world, and we will determine who those terrorists are. And they won't harm Canada, and they won't harm the Middle East, and they won't harm any other country in the world. And they won't even harm the United States, because that's a great country down in the United States. I used to live down there. We have snowbirds. They go down there. We trust our brothers and sisters down there. Are there people in power down there that don't realize what they're doing down there? I think there may be. I think there was. His name was Barack Obama. And they tried to destroy our world. They went over to Iraq and they killed a bunch of people because of jealousy. I got to see it firsthand. They're completely criminals. They have blood on their hands. And just because we know that, they want to destroy Canada. Did you know that there is a War of 1812? And the Americans are relentless when it comes to that war in 1812. Why do I say relentless? Because through our military technology, I was informed that one of my ones that I met down there in Florida had been threatening Canada one day, and he said we were relentless. And that's when I heard that word, relentless. And it scared me, and it sickened me to hear my old friend falling for that whole thing. Because I thought we were all friends, but here's the facts. There's people in Canada I don't like. Like, there's people in Canada. You know that whole Civil War thing in the United States? It's the same thing here in Canada. What do they call it? The bicentennial and the centennial and all that. See, I'm learning. See, that's where I am. Unfortunately, I only got to go to them. They have some good schooling down in the United States, and they have great schooling here in Canada. And I just want to get learning without the fighting. And I learned a lot. And now we're learning the other words, the centennial and the bicentennial and everything. I haven't heard that since what? I was 14 or 15 before all these false allegations. Now, my brother, it feels like they don't even allow him near me, which is a good thing because I was being intimidated. I love my brother. I never wanted to lose him, but man, did he intimidate me. A lot of guys intimidate you, and then it's hard to say no to guys that are in your family that you love. But you lose people. You lose people, and eventually we die too as men. But war is not something this area generally has. Not when we've been alive, generally, there hasn't been much war over here, but there has been those hits on us. I went down after the world. I learned everything about the World Trade Centers. That was an atrocity, the World Trade Centers. And I was one of the hardest key on. I wasn't old enough to go kill Osama. At the time, the guy that killed Osama, he was the guy they needed because I was not old enough to kill that guy. Like, as much, I used to run with it though. I hated Osama. Oh, for goddamn 15 years. See, that's the thing. We already killed Osama. I hated Osama for 15 years, but you know what pissed me off? They started to try to there was a couple of guys that were trying to make me look like an Osama, and that is what pissed me off. But no, I'm not Osama, but shout out to the guy that killed him. Because I would have went and killed him. Whoa. But they already had this guy, right? And this guy was good. He was way more mental health than me. I wouldn't have been able to do it at the time. I didn't understand who the hell these creatures were. These fucking scums. These guys are like the guys that got me in the jail. I had to get dental surgery on my tooth. It was horrible. If you go search up my dental thing, this was a kid. I was just a kid out of frickin' middle school in Florida. Next thing you know, I got hit by one of these ones that look like one of those dead ones. I swear to God. And that woke me up big time. I got a picture of it. It's horrible. But I got it fixed. But that woke me up. That woke up a lot of people. It woke up my family. It woke up people all the way down in the United States. There was ones that never thought you could be touched in this lifetime. There were ones that never thought you could be touched in this lifetime. Okay? But we learned you could be touched in this lifetime. Boy, did we learn what we could do in this lifetime. But no. Boy, the investment really paid off. As I said, JJ did not do no numbers, nor did Phil. They didn't do their calculator. Because now I got real gold and real diamonds. When I met them, I had fake gold prop jewelry. It's not illegal to wear fake jewelry. So I wore some fake jewelry, and they threw their whole legality away, plus the rent money. Look at this. When you get your rent money, you're happy. They lost their rent money. They're not happy. I am fucking ecstatic. It's congratulations every second. It's my birthday every month. It's either I'm going to be eating really good food, or I'm going to be making a big investment into some cool new thing. Welcome to ODSP, Tom. But ODSP is one thing. I wouldn't. Well, I rely on ODSP, but when I was a kid, I didn't even think of ODSP. Uh, I was a kid when I heard about ODSP. I didn't even hear about it because I was a go 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 type of kid. It wasn't until maybe what was it, 26 years old until I needed my ODSP. 27 actually, 26 or 27. Very proud to be on ODSP. Very deserving am I am. I am, I believe. As many others are as well to be on that ODSP. I had to know my dad. I wish my dad, John, would get on ODSP. Yes, even though I'm at the bottom of society, I guess on my ODSP, it helps me be supported where I'm not generally now, the more months that go on, I'm not going to be taken advantage of here in Canada anymore. I used to be heavily taken advantage of as a disabled person. They used to rape me and steal from me and touch me, make fun of me and cause problems for me and all types of stuff they did to me and us. But not on ODSP. I have a caseworker and she acts as my lawyer too. I always needed somebody like that. She stands up for me and she'll she'll talk like, well, now it's became time where I can talk too, but when I couldn't talk, I have a caseworker now that knows I'm legally disabled. There were people trying to take advantage of me. How, Tom? Because we know how people take advantage of people, right, with disabilities. This is a new one, okay? This one was I was disabled, but I didn't have ODSP. So but I was fully legal, but I needed ODSP because there was people making up false allegations and charges because they were jealous that I looked a certain way. So now we're talking discrimination. So I was facing all these discriminations down to the mortal level. I was in this town and they were calling me a witch because I have to sit on my teletype machine. Okay, like I have a computer and I'm disabled and I generally sit on my computer all day long. Whether it be not all day long, but generally like I don't stay on it all day long, but generally, I mean, the least I'm on my computer is 10 hours a day. Like I go on the teletype machine a lot. So I'm on my teletype machine, which is my right to do it and all that. See, I'm a private citizen, being that of I get my money every month. I'm just as high up as you are. I get my military pension. I already worked a job just like this. Yep, I worked for File Ice LLC. I made $200,000. It's been paid tax. My computer looks just like that when I'm sitting on it, but you don't sit on it. I do. I'm the one that afforded the machine. I'm the one that owns the machine. You don't own the machine. Through my family's large amount of wealth, I got educated. I got to go to school and educate myself to be able to buy a machine. Like the machines that I do have, which are like a gaming computer. Because guess what? There's kids that think they can talk up to me with the parents and everything that never had the education to be able to afford gaming computers or be able to use. And this gaming computer is a machine, just like those other machines I just showed. Exactly. Under law, I can do whatever I want with my machine as long as it's under law. So if I make $7 million being a famous person, I get to go off ODSP and I get to have 7 million. It's not the Holocaust like throwing people in the fucking dirt and killing them and burning them in the fire. You know what happened to Germany? If they're doing that, the Germans did the same thing. And it came on the radio about the Holocaust and how they're doing it to people. And then they got in big, big trouble. And there was D-Day and all that, so there'll be another D-Day and all that. All right? There'll be another D-Day. And I don't give a fuck about Adolf Hitler. I'm an American and a Canadian. I've learned the goddamn German history all the way through and through. I don't have to see anymore. Because I don't talk like I'm from Germany. I talk like I'm from modern day Canada in the United States of America. But German history is something that we learn from in school and on the internet. But I've done my learning, and it's time to control what I fucking own here in Canada. And that's a $350,000 apartment that I'm renting. I live in a $7 million building. I have the legal right to do whatever I want as long as I pay taxes. And the law is that I not should intimidate. Sorry, not to fall for any intimidation. I don't have to feel intimidated at all. It's a law. You're treating me like I'm a cow. You're intimidating me. And all that, and that's why I get to own the firearm and all that too. And I will use it, because that's something they say too. That if you violate my rules, I will use it or whatever. Being that under law, okay? So what does that mean? Does that mean I can just shoot anybody because I own a gun? No. For the ones that are unclear, it's not like that. No, I just own the gun and I put it in a holster or it stays in its case and all that. And I go on and do my business. I'm that higher up. I have a firearm, but that's the end of it. I'm not even allowed to shoot it in town. Not at all. The only time that I could ever use it legally, where under law I wouldn't, is if, say, somebody started grabbing for me and thinking if somebody thinks they can make up the law, right? The law is right here. Okay? But say somebody doesn't get that and they try to rob me, I can shoot them or whatever. But here's the thing, it would have to be a violent robbery. So if somebody comes up to me and starts to violently rob me, and if there's any chance of lethality in their criminal action towards me, meaning if they have a knife, if they have a gun, or if they punch me severely, then I can kill them and discharge the firearm under the they won't be able to afford a firearm, but That's a right that they try to take away from Tom in Canada. Okay, but I have the legal right to do it, and I will do it. And I'll be the richest, most gluttonous. You will be, even the prime minister is going to be jealous of stacks of milli here in Canada. They already are. If they already are, then get ready, because I don't even have my Ferrari and my Lamborghini in the next 10 to 15 to 20 years. Maybe 20. Everyone's going to have them. The older you get, everybody's got a fucking car. Some old bitch out in Teeswater that doesn't do shit but wipe her ass has got a fucking Rolls Royce. And you know what they used to say to me? Well, they would do intimidation. We got firearms. We'll fucking did it. Well, so do I. Okay. And they used to do it like this. This was me and Teeswater. There's Phil and Cam and the girlfriend and the other brother and the son and the uncle and Wayne Keller and John George. And so once they start, it's funny. and bundling hay and bundling hay and bundling hay. And the Their skin. I can't believe I ever went down there. don't own one of these big houses outright, is my whole theory with that. Even defend yourself. Next thing you know, believe it or not, they're in your house living in it. So what's wrong with that law? I'm not. I'm just saying that I was mistreated in that the law, something's up with the law. To school, he's happy, he's got his property. I think they are onto that, but here's the thing. They're so focused on me when I'm the one making the one that created the law, not Obama, to bring the law, to bring the gun laws. So say single shot Canada also has a system.